All right. It might just take me a while to figure this out. All right, it looks like we're going to be streaming in portrait because Okay, difficulties. All right, this is my first live ever, so you're just gonna have to bear with me, and I'm sorry that we're in portrait. I can't figure out how to flip the screen, but I'm gonna be looking on my chat on my laptop as well. There's a lot happening here, so yes. Okay, so toilet anxiety. Oh Christ, the chat just came up. So basically, I guess if you're here, you know what toilet anxiety is, and it's probably something that you have dealt with, and it's something that can be really difficult to deal with as well, because you can't avoid going to the toilet. Um, Everybody goes to the toilet, and you're going to need to go multiple times a day, and so it's one of those anxieties that you really have to face eventually, because it's something that you're going to have to do repeatedly day after day. And I have had times where it's been really difficult for me. I have had times where it hasn't been much of a worry. I remember like a decade ago, needing the toilet was never something that I thought about unless I needed to go. I'm kind of back at that stage now, unless I'm having a really bad day or a sort of dip in my mental health. But for the most part, I don't think about it too much anymore. Whereas even just a few months ago, it was quite crippling for me. So I have someone here who's asked a question about exams, which actually on my original toilet anxiety video, I had this question quite a few times, because obviously in an exam, you're in a stressful situation anyway. It's like a pressure cooker, right? So you have to go into this exam room, you have to ask if you need to leave to go to the toilet. And then in my head, at least, I would be like, well, I've already asked once, I don't want to ask again. And it's all just a big kind of scary situation, especially if it's an exam that is in the morning, as you said, which can make things even harder, because toilet anxiety in the morning, as soon as you wake up, I know for me, that's when it's the worst for me. It doesn't really matter if I eat breakfast or not. Obviously, having coffee doesn't help first thing in the morning, but whether I eat breakfast or not, if I've got something stressful on that day, my gut is probably going to react. So basically, what I have learned to do in those kind of situations, I mean, I'm 31 now, so I don't have exams, but I do have a lot of times where I have to leave the house early in the morning. And so the first thing that I found is relaxation exercises help. But there's a caveat with that. They don't tend to help in that moment. Because if you've already gone into anxiety overdrive and your, stomach's doing crazy things, you want something that's going to help right then and there. And relaxation exercises tend to take a little while to work. And if you're already in that fight or flight mode, then it's going to be hard to sort of calm your body down quick enough for you to feel some relief from that. So, relaxation exercises at other times. If you are somebody who is struggling with toilet anxiety, then I know you're probably sick of hearing it, but meditation, doing yoga, finding ways to relax your body at other times, and then that you'll find that that's more easily accessible when you are in those panic moments. And maybe even your window of tolerance becomes larger because you are used to relaxing yourself, and your body is used to being in a calm state a lot of the time. You'll find that those pressure cooker moments don't hit you as hard as they maybe would have in the past. So that's one tip that I have that's helpful. The other tip that I have, which I'm sure you've seen if you've watched my other toilet anxiety videos, but this is something that I use often, and that is just really surrendering to that fear. Because the thing that makes toilet anxiety worse is the shame and the worry and thinking those thoughts like, I don't want to ask to go to the toilet again. What if everyone, what do they think I'm doing in there? Like, it's embarrassing, like those kind of things. When you get in a cycle of those thoughts, it just increases that panic. It tells your stomach and your gut that there's something to be worried about. And so that, naturally increases the digestive disturbance, and you become hyper aware of everything that's happening in your gut. So that fight or flight response is designed to make you hyper focused on the threat. And if the threat is that you are needing the bathroom, like for me, it's always needing to poop. If the threat is me thinking, oh my God, I'm going to poop my pants, then I can become hyper aware of that sensation in my bowels and what that feels like. And the more you're aware of that, the more you can feel it. So it's this vicious cycle. So in that moment, just surrendering to it is the way to break out of that cycle. And that can be one of the hardest things to do, because if your fear is having an accident in public, then surrendering to the idea of having an accident in public is terrifying. Like, that's the thing that you're afraid of. That's what's making it so difficult. You just said, for me, it's poop too. I hate it. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm exactly the same. But so I really have just had to get really good at saying, if this happens, then it happens. And this morning, for example, I was going to something quite important and quite nerve-wracking. And 10 minutes before I left the house, my body's like, see you later, food, like, and my stomach's just ejecting, and it was uncomfortable, and I had to leave the house because I was going to be late. So I got in the car and I just said to myself, whatever happens today is going to happen today. And I know that there is, like, everything I've been through in my life, whether it's painful, whether it's good, whether it's bad, like whatever it is, I have learnt something from it. It has taken me somewhere. And so if my lesson today is that I'm going to shit my pants in a public place, then that's my lesson today. And I'm sure that I'm going to get something out of that eventually. My job isn't to predict the future. My job is to experience the now. And so take yourself out of that mindset of what if this happens? What if that happens? Can I ask to use the bathroom again? If you need to use the bathroom again, ask. Okay. But also check in with yourself and say, can I surrender in this moment? Can I surrender to this fear? I'm just checking in with the chat here. So we've got, I'd wait 1 to 2 hours to ask to go to the bathroom. Bathroom shouldn't be a privilege in school. It's a human necessity. 100%. I had a job where I basically wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom, and they didn't explicitly say that I wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom, but like, you couldn't go. And that was actually where a lot of my troubles with toilet anxiety started. That was where I started to become aware of needing the bathroom so urgently, because I was never allowed to go. So I was always checking in. Do I need the bathroom? Do I need the bathroom? And then I just became constantly aware of it. So yes, it is a human right. It is a basic human right. And you need to remind yourself of that and just say, if I need to use the bathroom right now, then I'm going to go ahead and ask to use the bathroom, even if you feel awkward about it, if you feel embarrassed about it. Forget that. It's your human right. But like I said, you do need to check in and say, can I also, though, surrender to giving myself permission to be human? Like, you're asking for other people to give you basic human rights as needing the bathroom, but are you giving yourself basic human rights? Are you saying to yourself, it's okay for me to need the bathroom? It's okay for me to need to shit right now? Like, sometimes I have to actually say that to myself. It is okay for you to need to poop right now. Like, it's all right. You are human, and that's what humans do. And, this obsession that you have, this like this pedestal that you put yourself up on to be perfect and to not have bowel issues, like, you are just making things so hard for yourself. And when you actually give yourself that space to be human and to make mistakes and to need the bathroom, it gives you a little bit of space from that anxiety, and you start to really see it as not a shortcoming of yours. You just see it as you being another human being. I'm still just checking in with the chat here. My brother always tells me, why do you always have to go to the bathroom? Yeah, I get that. I when I sent an email out about this live chat, I put in a little meme about like someone always needing to pee, and that's usually me in the group of friends. I either need to pee or I need to poop. But one of my really close friends also has IBS and has a nervous stomach, and he always needs to poop as well. So it's like I just like we get so obsessed that we have to be, this perfect version of a human, and we feel ashamed. And what are they going to think of us? But everyone else is going through something similar. If they're not going through the same thing, they're going through their own struggle that is painful to the same degree that ours is. So they may not understand toilet anxiety, but they may understand some kind of anxiety that we don't understand. Um, Sorry, I just got sidetracked from here. How do you differentiate toilet anxiety from something that is medically wrong? I panic each time I have the runs because I think it's serious. Um, Obviously, I'm not a medical professional, so please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But when I first started experiencing like chronic diarrhea, I didn't know it was anxiety. And so I went to the doctor. I had a colonoscopy done. I had like various tests, like gave stool samples and all those kind of things. And so they ruled out any medical conditions besides IBS, but they knew it wasn't Crohn's or IBD or anything like that. So I would say always do check with your doctor and be your own advocate. Like if you feel like they've missed something or you feel like, something needs exploring further, then go for that. If you need to, if you're experiencing, say, chronic diarrhea that is new and it's something that you've not dealt with before and it's constant, then I definitely would say you may need to get that checked out. But I know what you mean where you say every time you get diarrhea, you worry that it's something urgent. I would say a lot, well, not urgent, but serious. I know for me, I have that anxiety kicks in and I think, oh my God, I'm getting sick. Oh my God, I've got gastro. Oh my God, I've got this. Gastro is a big one for me because I've had that in the past and I had a bad experience with it. So I always worry that I'm sick. But it's taken me a while to just kind of come around to the place where I say my body is intelligently doing what it needs to do right now. So often diarrhea is your body ejecting something that shouldn't be there. And one of the tips that I wanted to share with you guys is that reading a book called Gut, I believe it's by Julia Enders, Julia with a G. I will post it in the comments, has really helped me to learn a lot more about the inner workings of my body. She talks with no shame at all about like the sphincter muscle and how the gut communicates with the brain and all those kind of things, that just really interesting things that I didn't know. And finding that out and learning more about how my gut is actually super intelligent, whereas before I was like, why is my gut so fucked and everyone else's is normal? I just felt like rage towards my own digestive system. After I read that book and I understood more about how my body works, I was stoked. And it just made me realize that my body is intelligent, my body is intuitive, my body is generally doing what it can to look after me and to keep working properly. So if you are experiencing diarrhea, it's probably your body doing what it needs to do to get you back to a healthy place rather than a sign that there is something terribly wrong. But again, like I said, I'm not a medical professional, so please always do get checked out because, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Just going to still check in. I went with my family to the park and felt like I had to use the bathroom, but I calmed myself and told myself that it's going to be okay. We rode our bikes and after felt so good. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. when you tell yourself that you are safe, I find that to be a really helpful one, saying to myself, you are safe. And like I said before, whatever's going to happen today is supposed to happen to you. Um, and just trying to find comfort in that, I find that really soothing. And I also say to myself, like, there's something looking out for you. I don't necessarily believe in God, but I believe in, you know, the universe, the universe kind of orchestrating things. And yeah, I have to submit myself to the idea that whatever is supposed to happen to me today is going to happen. And my body is an intelligent force that is doing, it's trying to do what I need. Another thing that I wanted to talk about on that note that has helped me a lot is befriending my body. So, Gut was a great book that I spoke about, but also things like yin yoga, running, um, getting more in touch with like my menstrual cycle for the girls watching this, becoming more conscious about, you know, the menstrual products that I was using, like instead of using disposable things, using like a menstrual cup, using period underwear, um, just removed the shame about the inner workings of my body. Whereas I came from a place that, you know, it was like girls don't fart, girls don't crap. Like, you know what I mean? It was like we had to kind of hide all of that stuff. And like, God forbid that guys at high school found that we had like sanitary pads or whatever in our bag, like you'd get ragged on. And so it took me a while to really learn that like my body is precious and that I don't need to be ashamed of those things. And so getting in touch with my body in that way was really helpful for my toilet anxiety, which was something that I didn't think would be. I'm a dude, is that rare? No, I don't think it's rare at all. I have to say, from all the people who've watched the toilet anxiety video, the first one, and who've commented, it is equal, girls and guys. It's not more dominant with any one sex. So I think ultimately, especially when it comes to toilet anxiety, as in fear of like shooting your pants, it's really just we live in a world where so much is documented, and like it's scary, you know? It's there's this sense that like everything we're doing is being recorded. I mean, I'm literally recording myself live right now in my bedroom. Uh, but yeah, you know, it's this fear that like we're going to be judged, and no one wants to feel ashamed. Shame is a horrible emotion. No one wants to feel embarrassed. So we really, I think the toilet anxiety is just a manifestation of that fear. Um, I'm only 15. Yeah, I don't think that's rare at all. I think that, I mean, it can happen at any age, I would say, but especially for teenagers, it's hard because there is a lot happening when you're a teenager. Um, and yeah, look, being 15 is tough. So yeah, I wouldn't say you're abnormal or yeah, I think that's pretty normal. I will have to go and look at the ages, the analytics of that video, but I would say that I think a lot of from the comments, a lot of people who suffer with toilet anxiety are teenagers as well. I've just got my tea right here. It's Anxiety Tuesdays as well. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that eating foods that are good. Obviously, this seems like a no-brainer. And it was actually something that I got really obsessed about for a little while, eating low FODMAP because I have IBS, and avoiding garlic and avoiding all the foods that trigger me. Fruits, yes. Yeah. So I got really like, excuse the pun, but anal about it. And basically what I had to do was I had to learn how to feed my body in a way that is helpful. So back in the day, I used to have like diet sodas and, you know, equal, like sweeteners that are full of shit, and just stuff that isn't good for your stomach, isn't good for your body, causes inflammation. And so through a lot of education, I learned that there are foods that that support my gut. And so I struggle with fermented foods because of my IBS, but I've just recently introduced a probiotic that doesn't seem to upset my stomach bizarrely, and that has been amazing. I've just, yes, spicy things trigger my stomach. Pfft, yeah, man. If I have chili, look out. Someone else has written, where did it go? The only way out of this is not eating at all. That makes me really sad. You do have to eat. I agree. The thing is, if you don't eat at all, I would say that first of all, I would recommend that you go and get checked out by a dietitian, by a gastroenterologist, because there may be something else happening there. But the other thing is, it may just be a case of everything you eat causing you to feel anxious and worrying about what's going to happen, which is then exacerbating the toilet anxiety. So it's one of those things that feels like a vicious cycle, because it's like anything that makes you think, oh my God, is this going to give me toilet anxiety, ends up giving you toilet anxiety. And then you want to cut that out. But I've got to say, it's like with agoraphobia. The more places I avoided going to because I had a panic attack there, the less places I could go, and my world became smaller and smaller. And it's like that with cutting out foods to deal with toilet anxiety. You cut out so many foods that in the end you're not eating anything at all, as you said. Sorry, I have to laugh again. Kenneth, never trust a fart after spicy food. Yeah, 100%. Have you ever suffered with vomit anxiety or got so anxious that you make yourself sick? Currently suffer with this. Do you know what? I never used to, and it's only been a recent thing for me, and it freaks me out. I know it has a name. I can't think of it at the moment. Emetophobia, I think. But yeah, nausea has been a huge thing for me in the past like 6 months. I don't know why it's suddenly become an anxiety issue for me, whereas before nausea just wasn't relevant to me at all. But I think because it comes with that idea that I'm sick. So if I feel nauseous, it's like, oh my God, I must be getting sick. And then gastro is going to follow and I'm going to shit my pants again. And, just like those big fears. But the thing that has helped the most with nausea, besides chewing peppermint gum, which I've found to be quite helpful, has just again been that surrender thing. And I know if you've been watching this live from the start, I'm sorry because I must have said this like 10 times already, but just surrendering to the idea that if you're going to chuck, then you're going to chuck, and knowing that it is your body doing what it needs to do to come back to balance. So your body is trying its best to regain equilibrium. I used to think to myself that my body was working against me and my body was ruining my life, and my body is just retarded and doesn't know what it's doing. Oh God, I shouldn't use that word. Sorry, this is what happens in live. So I say things stupid. But yeah, I felt like my body was my enemy and I was really upset by that. But it's the total opposite. Oh, I've accidentally flipped my camera. Hello again. Yeah, so my body is just doing what it needs to do in order to be healthy. And so working with that and knowing that if you need to throw up, it's probably because your body is trying to calm down, and that's okay. I know it's a hard thing to deal with, but just keep telling yourself, like they said before, I am safe, I am calm. Am I in Australia? I am. I am in Melbourne. It is cold today. Where are we? When going on trips, I never eat before. Usually something that helps me. Yeah, I used to find the same thing. I used to find that if I had to go to work early in the morning, I didn't want to eat breakfast beforehand, or I would have to get up so early to eat breakfast beforehand enough so that it would digest and I would poop, and then I would have like 3 hours up my sleeve to take Imodium and to stop pooping. So it was like this like big event, like going somewhere early, just became this huge hassle. Whereas for now, it's more that I have found, like I said, that doing the relaxation exercises, doing yoga, befriending my body. I can eat right before I leave the house, or I can eat after I leave the house, or whenever. It's the eating doesn't affect me so much anymore because my body is already calm. Whereas before, as soon as I ate something, I would think, oh shit, now I'm going to have toilet anxiety. You know, now this is going to make me need to poo or whatever. And so it would just start this spiral. What else have we got from here? It's funny for me the first time to see someone like me on the other side of the world. Man, I'll tell you what, there are so many of us who are struggling with this. Yeah. Because the thing is, all of us need the bathroom. Everybody poops. Everybody pees. We all need the toilet many times in a day. So there are so many people who are going through this form of anxiety, especially because anxiety upsets your digestive system. It's, you know, the fight or flight response. Blood gets shunted away from your digestive system because it's digesting food isn't important when you're in panic mode. So it affects the way you digest, which can affect the way you feel. So yeah, it's you like it's again coming back to that idea that your body is doing what it is supposed to do. It's not doing the opposite. How old were you when you developed agoraphobia? I was in my early 20s. So I was about 21 or 22. And it started out as toilet anxiety, which developed into agoraphobia. I became so obsessed with my body and what my body was doing that I started having panic attacks. And then I became so scared of panic attacks that I started, I guess, staying at home because every time I left, I would have a panic attack. I feel like bathroom anxiety is accident triggered. Very rarely does it arise in people that haven't been scarred from pooping their pants. Interestingly, I never had an accident when I developed toilet anxiety. So I only I was going to say shit myself. I only pooped my pants once, and it was recently. It was like, I get confused now with COVID, but it was 2019 or the start of 2020, whereas I developed toilet anxiety years ago. So yes, I think in a lot of people it does develop from having an accident and then having the fear of that reoccurring. But for me, it wasn't having an accident. It was just this obsessive need to control my body and this fear of having an accident when I hadn't even had one. But I was just terrified of it happening because I guess for me, it meant that if that happened, I had lost control completely, you know, like I was no longer in control of my body. And also I felt like I was going to be humiliated and ashamed and everyone was going to point and laugh at me and it was going to be horrendous. And when the event actually happened, when I did actually get sick and poop my pants one day, it was fine. I mean, it was like yuck. It wasn't great, but it just wasn't. It wasn't the big deal that I had made it out to be. How did I overcome agoraphobia? I basically overcame it by going out of the house, which I know makes it sound really like simple, but it wasn't at all. I pretty much just tried to get out of the house every day, and it was so freaking hard. I like some days I could barely get out the front door, and other days I could just walk a couple of steps down the street, and it took me quite a few years to overcome it. But now I wouldn't say I'm agoraphobic anymore. So yeah, I've never had an accident, just the thought of it and to be in control when it happens. Yeah, that was the same thing for me. It was just the thought of it, just the fear of it. Yeah, I've always had that. It got worse when I became a teacher, having to leave the classroom unattended. Yeah, so I think a lot of it comes from, or it seems to come from, this idea that we have to be in control of ourselves, but also when that possibility of going to the bathroom gets taken away. When you're in a situation where it's not easy to go to the bathroom and you think, oh my God, but what if I need the bathroom? So it's that need for humans to predict the future, and that need for security and safety, and to know that if something bad happens, we're going to be able to control it, or we're going to be able to escape or get to safety. And I guess if you're in a situation where you feel like you can't just run to the bathroom at any given moment, then that can be scary, and that can trigger that anxiety. Yeah. I have to say that yeah, it's hard. Look, if anyone knows how hard toilet anxiety is, I get it. Like, I spent years indoors because I was so crippled by it that I couldn't leave the house. Like, it became such a prominent thing in my life that even the slightest like butterfly in my stomach, even the slightest like a gurgle noise, which, yes, a normal stomach makes those noises all the time, but for me, just that tiny noise would set me off, and I would freak because I would think, oh my God, like, I'm gonna shit my pants. It's just, Anthony always laughs, my partner, about how many times I say I'm gonna shit my pants, because he's like, you literally say it all the time. But it was an obsession. And a few people have brought up in my other toilet anxiety videos that is this a form of OCD? Yes, it is a form of OCD. A lot of times anxiety disorders seem to overlap. Agoraphobia can come with panic disorder or not. Social anxiety can come with generalized anxiety. Toilet anxiety can be OCD, can be agoraphobia. So yeah, they can overlap. I just got sidetracked by the chat. Yes, I was losing control. You have a kid too. That's crazy. Yeah, I do have a child. Does your partner know and support you? He is wonderful. He is really, really good about it. I actually said to him once when we were driving somewhere and I was panicking, and I said to him, I wouldn't even know right now if I was having an accident because I can't feel my legs. Like, my lower half has gone totally numb. And he just looked at me and said, you know what? If something like that happens, I'll let you know and we'll go home. And I just felt so secure knowing that, I don't have, like I said before, I don't have to be perfect. Like, if it is going to happen, I have people who love and support me and who are going to take care of me. And it's not going to be me on my own, everyone pointing the finger and me being ashamed, My wife had to learn to deal with it. She knows I have to hit the toilet 5 times before we leave the house. Yeah. Yeah. So when you ended up pooping your pants, how did you react? Did anyone find out? Yeah. So I'll be totally open about this because, I mean, it was embarrassing. I didn't want to say it at the time, but basically I was driving home from work and I knew I was sick, which is why I was driving home from work. And I just couldn't make it. It was a 25-minute drive home. I could not make it. So I had to pull over and I stopped at a cafe and I went to use their bathroom, and then I left because I was like, I'm going to get home now. And then it just it just happened. And I was like, fuck. So I freaked out. I went to the bathroom. I texted my sister. I think I rang my mum. And I got a friend to bring me a spare pair of undies because I was like, I've just shit my pants at a cafe. Like, help. And yeah, it wasn't great, but it was just funny how it was nowhere near what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be horrendous, and it was horrendous in the way that it was like annoying, and it was it was embarrassing for me, but it just was such a non-event. Do you know what I mean? Like, the world kept turning afterwards. I went to work 2 days later when I felt better. Like, nothing changed. And in my head, before that had happened, I had been so terrified and so obsessed and gone out of my way to, like just always try and control every situation to the nth degree so that so that I wouldn't have an accident. And then one day when I did, I was like, okay, so this happened. I cleaned up and I moved on. Like it just wasn't a big deal. And I think we really all need to just remind ourselves of that we get obsessed with this idea that, toilet anxiety, like, oh my God, what if the worst happens? If the worst happens, then it happens and you keep going. Like it's it's just what happens. So, sometimes it helps me to answer that question, to say to myself, well, yeah, exactly. If it happens, then it happens. If you watch my second toilet anxiety video, that was pretty much the crux of the video. It was just, if it's gonna happen today, it's gonna happen today. And you have to let that be all right. You have to give yourself permission for that to happen. You have to say, you know what? If this is going to happen to me today, then it's going to happen to me today. And we laugh and move on. And I have friends who have, had accidents from being drunk, or had accidents from eating like food that didn't agree with them. Like, I know so many people that this happened to, and everyone's like, whatever, you move on. So I guess I'm just someone who gets a little bit obsessive about those things, and I just need to give myself that extra permission to be human. When did you first become aware others shared the same anxiety? I've only just discovered this channel and was very emotional when I found out that I wasn't aware, because I wasn't aware others had it. Yeah, that's been a huge reaction, I think, from a lot of people who've commented and said, I can't tell you how many people said, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one back in the day. And I would read anxiety books when I first got diagnosed with agoraphobia and everything, and they would kind of allude to it. Like they would say things like, anxiety can cause diarrhea, or it can cause like uh, an urgency, or like an urgent need to use the toilet. And I was like, okay, so like I guess that's normal that I always feel like I have to go to the bathroom. But I was worried there was something really wrong with me, because I'm like, but I'm always worried about it. I am always thinking about it. Like I must be a freak. And I guess when I started posting the Anxiety Mama Instagram and on this channel, I think the first time I said that I had this fear, a couple of other people said that they had that same fear as well. And I'm like, maybe this isn't just me. And so then when I made the toilet anxiety video, I was terrified, because I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to put a video on the internet saying that I'm scared of shitting my pants. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? It was terrifying. And I think even in the video, I said that, like, I spoke more about a fear of needing to pee rather than a fear of needing to poo, because I didn't want to come out and be like, I'm scared that I'm going to poo my pants. But if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've just come around to saying that anyway. I'm like, whatever, you guys all know that I'm scared of this. So yeah. But yeah, there was so many comments and so many people saying, oh my God, I go through this as well. And I wanted to cry, because I was like, I can't believe that there are so many people out there suffering with this, and no one is fucking talking about it. No one is talking about it. And so, sometimes I don't actually want to talk about it, to be honest. Like sometimes I'm like, God, I'm a little bit sick of talking about toilet anxiety. Like I feel like sometimes I just want a little bit of a break from it. But I said to Anthony the other night, I said, the reason I keep talking about this, and the reason I keep saying I'm scared, I'm going to shit my pants, I keep saying it because I know that there are other people out there thinking this, and I don't want them to think it alone. I want them to know that it is normal. I mean, it's not what is normal, first of all, but it's normal in the sense that other people are thinking the same thing. It's not just you. Yeah, I want to help as many people as I can with this issue, because it can take over your life. Sorry, I just went on a rant, so I'm just going to catch up with the chat. I feel like if a big name celebrity came out, this would be so much more common for people to discuss. Like, where's Margot Robbie when you need her to reveal a short story? Oh my God, Kenneth, you're a pisser. Yeah, I feel like some celebrities have said it. Someone commented on one of my other videos and said, if so and so can shit their pants, then we all can. I can't remember what celebrity it was, but I guarantee you pretty much all the celebrities have shit themselves. I guarantee you most humans have. Have you ever heard of bile acid malabsorption? I have not, but I will look that up. Videos have helped me out so much. I'm really glad. I'm glad to hear that my videos have helped. You guys have helped me. It took me 5 years to tell my boss I have this. She said, "We got 3 toilets just for you. Use them at your will." I love that. That's amazing. That's so sweet. Do you know what? I think, yeah, we forget that other human beings are actually okay with us being human too. Some people don't understand. My old bosses did not understand, and they didn't get how it was such a worry for me. And they also didn't want to talk about it, which made me feel more ashamed. But yeah, there are those people out there who are so compassionate and so kind. And for the most part, I think most humans are compassionate and kind. There are just some that are dickheads. But yeah, I think the more we're open about this and the more that we make this a conversation, the more comfortable people are going to be, and then the less of a problem this will be. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the issue with toilet anxiety is the shame and the fear that people are judging you. So if we know that this is an active conversation and that people are aware of this, then it takes some of that shame away. I went to my doctor and she didn't know at all. She told me to go to a psychologist. Yeah, I had that as well. I had that experience. They told me to do CBT, which I don't know. I don't want to rag on CBT, but for me, I found that it wasn't particularly helpful. What was the most helpful was making these videos and finding out that other people were thinking the same thing. And then I was like, maybe I actually just need to give myself a bit of a break. My friends didn't understand and laughed at first. Yeah. Lunar phase. Yeah, look, I think that's amazing that you are being your own advocate, and fighting for what you know you need. So keep doing that. That's amazing. In my school, I can only go to the bathroom once every class unless I have a doctor's note. Man, yeah, I think that's BS. I would be going to the principal and just saying, look, yeah, go back to your doctor, get your note, do whatever you need to do to not have the toilet taken away from you, because I found for me that increased the anxiety. But yeah, I don't know. This is why we need to continue the conversation so that people are aware that this is a thing. I do need to head off soon, so I just wanted to recap on the biggest things that have helped me. Where did I write my notes? So the main thing was surrendering and knowing that, it's gonna be okay. Like, even if I do shit my pants, pee, whatever, whatever I've been afraid of in terms of toilet anxiety, and I've been afraid of all of it. Whatever's going to happen in that situation, it's going to happen, and then I'm going to move on. It's not going to be the end of the world. It really is not going to be the end of the world. And it may be embarrassing, but I'd rather live my life than be constantly terrified of something embarrassing happening, because embarrassing shit is going to happen regardless of whether I shit my pants or not. I wonder how many times I've said shit in this video. The next thing that helped was a book called Gut by Julia Enders. I will write it in the description or in the notes, because it really helped me to learn how my digestive system worked, which I didn't expect it to help. I was reading the book for other reasons, but I can't tell you how much it helped with my toilet anxiety, really learning how my digestive system works, how the body works, how my sphincter muscles work. It was enlightening and really helpful to know. And it made me want to be friends with my body. And then on that note, being friends with my body by eating foods that are gut healthy, having probiotics, doing things that assists my body in being healthy rather than trying to stop it from doing what it should naturally do. you know? Like I used to smash Imodium all the time, and these days I don't because I'm like, if my body needs to poop, then it probably needs to poop, and I'm gonna let it do that. Exercise such as yin yoga, relaxation exercises, meditation, all of that kind of stuff really helped me to learn to inhabit my body rather than constantly wanting to escape my body. Uh, and learning about my menstrual cycle as well, learning that I don't have to be ashamed that, I'm a human being. I'm a female in a female body. I have periods. I like any other human, I need to poop sometimes, I need to pee sometimes. That's normal and that's okay. And just becoming more conscious about that and trying to just take the shame away. And on that note, being open and making videos like this where I openly talk about needing the bathroom. I'm just doing a final check on the chat. Um, yeah, I've wondered that sometimes too. People who can't go to the bathroom, I'm like, how do you manage? Like, how do you do this all day? But that's it, guys. I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who attended the live and asked your questions and, joined in and made me feel supported and heard. I really, really appreciate it. And please keep the conversation going. Keep talking about this. Yeah, the less shame we can have around this issue, the better it's going to be for everyone. And if there's one last thing I can leave you with, it's please give yourself permission to be human. Yeah, that's the key thing. And big love to you all. I hope you have a great day or night or wherever you are, and thank you for being in the live. Love you. Mwah!